you got?
What is your value and worth? By holding on to, can our value be compromised? I mean, I don't think, the first thing I think of, I don't think of money.
Okay, so value, worth. What do you think of though? Right away. Word bank.
Morals.
Okay.
I mean, the most common answer is going to be money, so I might as well write that down. Character. That's about all I got.
Worth.
I would say the same words.
I'm gonna go ahead and just put it down, because in my head, the way I think. Perception. I mean, value. We could be talking about beauty. What other things do you think of worth? Obviously, I mean, we could go on and on, right? Like, to me, those are the keys. I think I like where you're at with morals and character.
Okay, good enough.
Good enough.
Mhm.
So, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Self. Okay. So, what do you got here? By holding on to, can our, and that's
Like individual, right?
yeah, and I suppose, you know.
When you say by holding on to, what do you mean? Like holding on to what?
What do you mean? Holding on to, I suppose, what you perceive, perception, what you believe. To be your value. So, how can I give you an example of that?
Well, I mean, I can just fill in by holding on to my morals. Can my value be compromised?
Sure, yeah, you can fill in blanks with any of those words, I suppose. Your morals would be a word. I mean, is that not something that, you know, the way we were raised to believe whatever it is, if we hold on to whatever that belief may be, or perception of quote unquote reality, does that not now dictate what value we see in, you know, maybe this group of people in that neighborhood or in that household? household because who knows why. It could be the paint job on the house. It could be the dog. It could be the car in front of the house. It could be the people inside the house.
I don't like to think that it could be compromised just because I'm so surface level. But for the purpose of that question, yes, I think anything can be compromised.
And so how would you define this word?
Changed, influenced, taken away. Because I think like if you have a specific amount of, I mean, I'll just use morals as the example, but if you have certain morals and you meet other people that you start hanging out with that have different morals, they can convince you and compromise what you always thought to be true.
I think guilty by association, not just so much guilty by association, but I mean, my dad's quote that he shares with me is, you hang out in a barber shop long enough, you're bound to get a haircut. And so, you know, okay, you walk into a haircut without the necessity of needing a haircut, everybody can understand and break that down. In the same sense here, by holding on to your value, can that be compromised? Or in your sense, your example of hang out with a group of crowd, or a certain group or crowd that does certain things that maybe you weren't raised to do or sheltered from, and correct me if I'm wrong, am I saying the right things? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you do something with them that was a direct influence by them, and now they have put you into a position or a state to consider something else. And I believe that might be compromise.
Right. But then it goes back to like by holding on to. So if you are really strong in your morals and you hold on to them and you don't let anyone else kind of like take that away or rob you, you can easily have your value not be compromised. But then you've got another side of it where if you hang out with a bunch of new people and they're doing or opening you up to things that you've never done before in a positive way, then it's not compromise, you're not holding on to, but you're being, I don't even know what the word would be, but you're being exposed and maybe expanding your own horizon for the good.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dana. That's kind of what I know I've learned in so many ways.
Someone grows up without God and then meets someone and then becomes a believer or is more spiritual, that could be the best thing that ever happened to them.
I mean, that's a bridge to a gap for me with my testimony that, you know, I didn't ask for. I know for me, without another man, it could have been a woman, and there was plenty of women of faith that I'm sure had their influence on me, whether I can reflect on them and specifically say who they were when they were in my life and all of that, I can't necessarily say. The biggest influence that I can suggest somebody having on me was showing me or allowing me to feel comfortable in their presence, giving me their time in the name of what they said, God, and in their faith found in Jesus Christ. It was pretty impactful to me for sure. Like, so if I would have held on to, as I was doing before, you know, I think I've used the fish in the ocean or fishing example, like I was not so sure about this message of God the first round, if I were to be honest. but it was apparent to me that I needed change, and I wasn't feeling very good inside. Um, I was lost, I was empty. I could go down a list of words that we could throw in a word bank that come with what I would say I was feeling, but I can only talk about my value being increased, and that came from being compromised. And it's weird, it's so weird because, it's hard to let go of that world that we've come into, that we understand to be, and only, this is all we understand. Those that dive into religion or some sort of spiritual realm or walk, it gets to be different for those that haven't walked in those realms with them. So people are kind of like, what the heck are they talking about? So for me, this is an interesting conversation because of what's going on right now in our society. It's kind of back to the words, not to plant these words or ignite them any more than they've already been, but there's a lot of fear. And, my fear is the continual separation that we have amongst people. So it's like, how do we get this value to increase? And that value as a community. That's kind of where I'm looking at it backwards. I think that the thing that's going on is we're all in fear of our health naturally. And that's causing some sense of, it's been mandated within reason that we space out. Businesses obviously following some rules, some haven't, just like people on the highway that don't follow the speed limit. That's no shock to me. But there's other things going on that have always been going on. Your girlfriend out in Minneapolis that's going through what she's going through and what they're going through out there right now, it's serious. It's a real deal. And it's not something that needs to be made light of, like I'm just standing here on my whiteboard acting like, hey, let's talk so casually. But we're in Arizona. Things are a lot easier out here on us. We're not waking up to, what she is.
Right.
And others have, imagine being in that direct circle with the family that's impacted by this. Whether it's direct family of the man that was killed and their friends, or on the officer's side, and how much, is coming with threats. I mean, they want justice. We've seen this time and time again. And they demand it as people. We will fight for what is right. And I think that's where I'm not here to give the answers to what's right. I can sit here and say, like, I would love world peace. But I know that I've talked to people that don't support it. So it's like, wow, that honestly was, But then again, I'm like, there's trash out there. I'm going to pick it up regardless if everyone else wants to or not. There's times where I don't. I'll walk right by it. And I don't like a dirty street or a smelly walkway. Alley, to be more specific. It's a benefit to have order, to have restrooms and go in the restroom versus out in the street like some other countries that we're so ignorant to because we don't travel to. So it's like if we don't understand what comes with that gray area in order, not to suggest that there's room for gray, but as Big Brother, the camera, comes in, I hope there's more and more sense made of what is not making sense. Because that's basically, we're kind of playing the role of God, trying to follow everyone, listening to everyone. And who's we? Like, not going there. Not even going to get into that conversation. This is about our value as people. And I'm just saddened daily. Baseball. to me, my value when I signed a professional contract, Danielle, I signed with a broken elbow my senior year. When I was a little kid, all I wanted to do, it got to a point where all I wanted to do was play at the major league level. And here I am, wearing a minor league Grinders shirt, proudly. And I know I've pitched in the major leagues, but that doesn't mean I'm a major leaguer, because I'm not right now. And I think that's the weird thing. The coolest quote I was ever told is, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. And that was like, holy cow, that's some real crap right there. Nobody, who's running to die? Even old people that have lived a successful life. I don't know of anybody, like we talk about people that were, they were okay, they were at peace, but like I've never seen someone rush or race to the finish line. No. And so with baseball, right now I'm waking up daily to, this. What is it? Going up? Is it just staying the same? No way. It's never just stayed the same. It's been growing. I mean, I'm not ignorant. That ignorant. I only know what I know. And what do I know? Is it fact? Well, what I've lived, I believe to be fact. Nobody can rob me of my experience. There's very few things in economics that just stay like this. So that, not to consider what you said originally you didn't want, not to consider that with life and or people, because that's what we are. I'm a person, right? Like I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am. But I don't want to see this go down for myself, for you as a person, for the community, for the value of a pool. Heck, we see people over the last month and a half, we saw people a little bit outraged over the pool, us being one of them. People will fight for things. Right now we've got people fighting for, something I love. And I know a lot of people love, not just people that play it, but people that watch it. You being one of them, your family. Me being one of those families, coming from one of those families. And when I signed out of high school, my value suggestively dropped. Why? I got hurt. I had a broken elbow my senior year. What did that mean? Truthfully, in the world, nothing. John Lamb didn't pitch his senior year of high school. Whoop-de-doo. What happened? June 5th, I believe, was the date. Or 6th. Could have swore it was the 5th. Kansas City Royals calling me on a day that I didn't go to school because, again, school wasn't that important to me as baseball was. And I was ignorant to think that way. And some might judge me for that still to the day. I can go back to school. Is that a lot more time? Yes. Would I tell a student or a kid to not pay attention in class? Nope. I'd say that's not that smart, actually. That's kind of foolish, like I was. And I wish I could go back and be a smarter student. Spend my time better in class. Just to sharpen my mind. Not to be Einstein. Because I don't view myself as stupid by any means. But that value for me in high school to go down, to take an opportunity that came from me on a day, like I said, I didn't go to school, to watch a draft that I could maybe be picked in. That was the biggest day of my life. 5th round draft pick by the Kansas City Royals. I happened to play scout ball for them. I had already wore their jersey. To me, it just felt like, truthfully, a dream come true. and why. Because all I wanted to do was play baseball. My dad told me you can provide food, clothes, and shelter. And more. If you're able to make this a living. But he believed in me. Nobody in my family didn't believe in me, from what I could tell. That was the luckiest, if not, as I've grown to believe, I'm so blessed to say that, because I didn't have many people in my tight circle that were suggesting you can't. And I was the only one that wasn't liking the word blessed that was being thrown around from outside influences, because I didn't understand what that meant. But to see this going on right now and the worth, I'm just worried about perception, people. Perception. Not just fans' perception. I'm worried about my peers. Yesterday at Fuel Factory, getting to meet some kids after working with and throwing with Zach. I go through some PFP work John invites me into. Meet a couple kids and they ask some questions about some players who I played with. They bring up Mike Trout. Great guy. Amazing guy. One of the best teammates. I knew that the first second I was an Angel in the clubhouse at 7 a.m. and he walked in and shook my hand. Younger than I am, the face of baseball, without even wanting to be, because I got to witness it for 2 spring trainings, let alone a little bit at the major league level when I was there and the team was home. It was a treat. All those guys that people might want to judge right now because of what they're doing, for their worth. It pisses me off. Because I remember when I was in high school being advised not to sign. Not yet, not too soon. And I'm sharing the insides of the business right now. But I jumped at it. And did I make a mistake? It's hard for me to think that. Because when a team tells me this is the amount today and this is going to be the amount at the end of this time period where we're allowed to offer you money to come play ball for us, or you're going to have to go play ball at a junior college or a university of your choice, and maybe we do or don't come knocking again, or some other team, some might say I didn't believe in myself. One of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball today, Garrett Cole, was in the same draft class as me. Was a first-round draft pick. I believe he was, I don't know the number, but I believe he was picked up late in the first round. He turned it down, went to UCLA, comes back. I believe he's #1 overall pick 3 years later. Not everyone turns out to be that way. And then here Garrett is, where he is in his career. Smart man smart man, not only the way he's handled his business, being his body, but he's got a degree. He's had a hell of a career. And right now he is fighting for, like many of those players, what they've been, promised. And I respect that. I'm just saddened by the interpretation of the public view, the public eye, as they're to me my baseball family. And then of that family, when I go back and admit my story in high school, I was pissing off potentially members of my family by doing what I did, signing early for less than what I was maybe worth or valued at. But to me, I took their word to be true. I was betting that this wasn't about this little bonus, this was about the future. And that's kind of what I guess I'm asking us is, by holding on to something now, can it affect think it has for some. I don't know how. I don't have an answer for this problem in life. I'm sharing my story by all means, happily. Um, I'm proud, very proud of being in the big leagues, but at the same time, I want to get back to that. And I hope that those involved with bridging that gap right now really acknowledge the impact that we have an ability to create. And that's family. That's so much greater than, these things. To me, in playing with the Royals, it was a dream. Signing and playing professional baseball. So whatever money it wasn't about money. They could have gave me a pair of cleats and a glove, and at that time, those that know me, a can of dip. Or a log of it. Because I saw it on TV, my dad did it, and not to say that makes it okay, but hey, you know what? I thought it was cool. And in some sense, that's a follower. Absolutely, in every sense of it. And I've followed baseball. And I hope I can continue to follow baseball, whether I get to play it or not. Because baseball is amazing. People from all over the world. And I'm saddened to hear people are getting all sent home. People that came in to where we are, here in Arizona for spring training. Went home. Pandemic. It's not just about baseball. This is bigger than baseball. Obviously. Nothing on here started with baseball. But to me, we woke up this morning and I wrote that down, and it was not the topic that you wanted to do. I know we have 6, 7 other topics that we've been writing and pushing into the rug. We've had a lot going on, even though it's not about what we have had going on. It's just about what can we do to help construct or be a part of the building process to what we want. And I think this line of worth or value is not it. It's not it. We've always been looking for the rise. And when we climb, who freaking climbs to slide down? No one. And when you slide down, it's a frustrating process for all parties. That movie, what was it? The Doll Wall?
The Dawn Wall.
The Dawn Wall?
I was just thinking of that.
That was such an amazing and inspirational example of falling and getting back up and being not just courageous, but relentless. Like, courageous is no shit. You're hanging off of, who wants to do that? That alone has to be, you have to have some special, or something in here, or, some would say balls.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, metaphorically, you have to have something in here that can get you to do stuff like that. And to me, right now, there's going to be a lot of courage stepping out into the world, shaking people's hands, hugging people, stepping up to somebody that is angry that you might not be going about respecting their space because maybe you and I aren't wearing a face mask. It's not our place to fight them because they want to fight or they want to get confrontational. How can we respond? How can we maintain our value? Our morals. Right now, a lot of things are being attacked. That's all. I think this is under attack. And that's the biggest thing that I guess I see in my life, I've felt in my life, through my own flesh, through my own family, friendships, relationship, and now certainly industry, workplace, and economically, it's scary. For those that know that like that's how we feed ourselves: food, clothes, and shelter, provided by monies that we go earn. And it's hard to see light right now. For me, it's hard for me, not to see light in my faith, but light in this process, in the way it's being perceived through news. So this is my news, as I can only share so much. And Danielle, you have had so many good points that you and I've got into, so that's why we're doing this. But I don't know if you have anything you want to add. I know I go on my rants, so that's it.